Hey guys, Jerry Landry here from the Weathered Shed. I am super excited to be hosting this show on Hometalk, the world's largest DIY community for home and garden. Today I have for you a fun vintage window repurposing project, and I'm excited to share with you all of my tips and tricks and some cool new tools for you to use. If you have any comments or questions, please ask them as I move along. If you're watching this premiere live, I will be joining you in the comments. So please ask away and I will be sure to get to your questions or any comments that you may have, okay? So as you're coming in, let me know where you're tuning in from. We always love to hear where you're tuning in from. I am in McWanago, Wisconsin. It is already cold here this time of year, so let me know where you're tuning in from, all right, guys? So let's get started. We have here a vintage window that I just picked up at a local estate sale or rummage sale or something. I have all kinds of this stuff laying around here. And I have already gone ahead and pre-painted some of the window, as you can see. It is this golden oak color, so we're gonna finish up painting that. I'm just using some paint that I had laying around. This is a chalk style paint. This one happens to be by Dixie Belle. It is the color of Hurricane Gray. I thought that was a nice neutral color. And I'm just using a standard chippy brush. You can find these at your local hardware stores like Home Depot and you name it, okay? So just remember, if you're watching the premiere live, that I will be with you in the comments, okay? I will be watching along and answering any questions that you might have. So I'm just finishing up painting this little section here. The nice thing about using a chalk style paint, guys, is there's not a whole lot of prep work that you need to do with your surface. That is one of the things that I love about it. I took this window outside, scrubbed it off with the hose, washed it a little bit, and then let it dry and then applied my paint. And you can see even on the hardware, I've gone ahead and actually put some paint on the hardware, the rusty hardware. I kind of like to add a little bit of paint look to that as well. And I just did a really shabby job, okay? Speaking of shabby, give a shout out to my hubby who's working the camera. We call him Shabby Daddy on my Facebook page, so say hi to him for helping out. And yeah, so we just want to get some a good coverage of paint on here, and I think that looks pretty good. We are going to go ahead and set this aside. And then I'm going to tell you guys about the other products that we're gonna be using in this project, okay? So I'm gonna quickly show you those. We are going to be using this awesome silicone mold. This is an Iron Orchid design mold. It's called Bird Song, and it is just beautiful detailing in this mold. These are food grade safe, so if any of you are a caker or bakers, you can use these with your fondants and chocolates, whatever. So they're amazing. They have tons of detail. So I'm going to show you how to do those. We need some air dry clay. Again, this is by Iron Orchid Design. I love this. We're going to use a decor transfer, a beautiful floral decor transfer. I have some Titebond glue. I have some E6000 glue. I have some basic cornstarch. And then when we get ready to prep the window, I'll just kind of talk through that as well. So let's go ahead and work on our molds. I thought it would be really cool to add some birds to the framework of my window frame, okay? So I already happen to have a package of my air dry clay already opened. So I'm gonna pull that out. To store the clay, guys, you just need to put it in a Ziploc bag. It keeps for a really long time. So have any of you guys repurposed an old window before? I'd love to hear if you've repurposed a window and what you did with it. Okay, so I am just going to take, I just have this, what is this, like a basting brush, right? And some of my cornstarch. I like to put a little bit of that in the molds because it helps the clay just pop out even easier. So I'm just gonna pick a couple of birds here. We're gonna whip those up and then apply them onto my framework. So I'm just putting a little bit in we're gonna do a few of these together. And then I just take my, my little basting brush and kind of smoosh it around in there. Okay. Just like so. All right. And then just pull out a chunk of the clay and just start working it into the mold, guys. It's pretty darn simple. Okay, just squish it in there with your hands, like so. So again, guys, if you are joining me, let me know where you're tuning in from. If you're watching live, again, I'm in the comments. And ask away any questions that you may have. You probably are wondering what this little guy is. This little tool comes inside of the transfer. So I just chose to use this to help me remove my clay, but you can literally use any type of a hard plastic scraper. You can get those paint scrapers. You can use a credit card, whatever you have laying around. So I like to use this just because it's handy. It's part of my tool set that I'm using in today's demo. So, and again, just take out some of the clay, and we're gonna make up a bunch of these little birdies. I'd also like to know if any of you guys have used silicone type molds before and what you've done with them. What's great about these molds is they can be used on all types of things. Furniture, you can add them to your everyday home decor. For example, a lamp, if you have a lamp that you want to upcycle, pop out some of these little birds, slap them on the base of your lamp, and bam, you've got a whole new look. And we are actually going to be applying these wet to my frame, and I will be painting them wet. So that is the other cool thing. When you use air dry clay, it's very unpredictable as far as when it starts curing or getting hard. It will most likely crack, not all the time, but most of the time it does end up cracking. And I love that because it just adds even more to that vintage look. Looks more authentic that way. All right. So, as you guys can see, look at the clean edge that I got on here. This is the neat thing about these particular molds. They have a patented micro rim, so right on the edge there, so you get a nice clean finish when you scrape off your clay. You don't have a ton of flyaways and that kind of thing. So it's pretty stinking cool. And again, they're so easy to work with. Okay. All right. So anybody have any questions for me? Shoot away. I love answering your questions. Again, my page is called The Weathered Shed, so I would love for you to go over there and follow me. Always doing various different projects. And I love for folks to follow along. I love empowering women in DIY. So, all right. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna flip this over, okay? So I'm just gonna lay it down and I'm gonna show you guys how easy it is to pop these buggers right out of the mold. That's what's so nice about using a little bit of that air dry clay, or I mean, excuse me, oops, I lost that little guy's tail. No worries. The cornstarch, hello, help me. All right, so I'm gonna redo that little guy real quick. And his little tail got a little stuck, so he's got a little bit more detailing on him, so a little finer lines there. So I got to make sure, get that stuck down in there good. So as I mentioned, we are in Wisconsin, and we already have had a couple of snowfalls. Isn't that crazy, you guys? Oh my goodness. All right, so we've got him now. That's perfect. So I'm gonna again just flip him over and kind of roll him right out. There we go. He has a very, very fine little tail on him, but I want to hold these little guys up because you guys need to see the detailing in this. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? I just love these little birdies. They're so amazing. So I'm gonna sit these aside, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring our window back up here, and I'm gonna show you guys how I'm going to apply them to my window, okay? All right. Okie doke, so let's get this guy up here. Make some room here for me. All right, so all you're going to do, you are going to take your Tight Bond wood glue. I love this glue because it's called Quick and Thick for a reason. It will grab a hold of your wet clay very fast, okay? And just spread it around. The other thing I love about it is it's paintable, okay? So you can paint it and cover up any glue that might ooze out around the edges. So you don't have to worry about that, all right? Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and we are going to just take and glue this guy. I want this one kind of swooping in the edge up here. Just like that. Okay, can you guys see that okay? And then I'll put a couple more down towards the bottom so you can see down there. I want these little guys kind of perched on the edge down at the bottom. So again, just get your wood glue on there. Just like so. I'm gonna have, thought I'd put one on each side down there. All right. And again, this is just adding embellishment to your framework, so it just gives more visual interest, you know? Instead of just having it be plain Jane, you can just add these little molds, just like that. And once they've kind of grabbed hold, which again, it doesn't take a whole lot of time, guys, you can put paint right on top of them, all right? And I am gonna save this little guy because I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna incorporate him into my design here, all right? So, next step, we just want to get our window prepped, okay? Because we are going to apply the transfer next. So how I'm going to do that is I am just taking my denatured alcohol, okay? I'm getting it on a shop rag here. And again, these blue towels you can pick up right at your local Home Depot or Menards. And I love the denatured alcohol because it dries super quick. So you're just gonna wipe the surface. And a lot of times with these old windows, guys, there's, you know, crud up in the corners and that. You're not gonna get them totally, perfectly clean. But that's okay. You're gonna get most of it off, and that's all you need because you're gonna be applying a transfer. You're not gonna notice it that much anyway. Once you get it on, okay, so just give it a good cleaning. that. All right. And I think what I want to do is get a couple of blocks here underneath. I'm going to prop this up a little bit so you guys can see what I'm doing as I'm applying the transfer, okay? Hopefully that will be stable enough. Okay, the decor transfers, guys, these can be put on furniture. You can put them on windows, you can put them on mirrors, you name it. They're absolutely beautiful. They come in these tubes to protect them. They have a backer sheet. This particular one, I've actually used a portion of it. That's what's great about these. You can cut off and use as much or as little as you want for various different projects. So I've already used part of this. I think I used the big sunflower on another window that I did. So this ended up being perfectly sized for this window. So I love it. It comes on this protective sheet, okay? So you just want to kind of make sure you have it laid out where you want it before you pull the sheet off, because if you press down, it's already going to start adhering, okay? And then, as I mentioned, these sticks come inside of there as well. And you can get these, find them right on my website at theweatheredshed.com. And there are also going to be a link here in this post to all of the products that I'm showing today, okay? So you don't have to worry about that. You can find them. And again, if you have questions, please ask, all right? The other nice thing about these decor transfers, they have grid marks. So if you want to line them up, if you're doing a particular project where you really want to be particular about lining things up, you have a nice gridded background for you to do so. So I'm going to go ahead and pull away the protective backer sheet, and I'm just going to go ahead and get this laid down on my window where I want it. Okay. Like that. All right, so I'm gonna start smoothing it. Now it's gonna actually already start grabbing to the window, okay? Just like that. Smoothing it out. And then I am going to go ahead and start rubbing with my stick, my handy dandy little tool here, okay? So I'm just gonna start rubbing away. And what will happen, guys, is you will see the transfer start pulling away from the backer sheet. It'll kind of turn like a muted color. And then that's how you know that it's pulled itself off. And sometimes you can help it along. See how I'm holding this corner up on here? You can help it along. Once you get like a little air bubble going underneath, it actually goes along very fast. So that is what I'm doing. I'm helping it along like so. And you want to make sure, when you buy your window, your vintage window too, that you don't get one that is so rotted, guys, that the glass isn't held securely in there, because you are putting pressure on the glass. And heaven forbid, the glass should break. That would be very dangerous. So be very cognizant of that you want a nice sturdy window, okay? All right, so you guys can see it's already adhering to the window there. Absolutely beautiful. So I'm just gonna keep moving along here. Top to bottom will do. So you guys can see a little bit better. And as you're lifting, if there's a little piece of the design that didn't transfer, all you do is lay it right back down and just rub right back over that area. It's not a big deal. So what have you, I asked this question earlier, what have you guys done with vintage windows before? Because there's a lot of things you can do with them, right? You can paint on them, you can do stenciling on them. I actually have another one that I repurposed in my house that I did some stenciling on, and it looks awesome. I've also seen people make coffee tables out of them. So, yeah. So Shabby Daddy's telling me to hurry up. This is why I have him around, right? He's like, get moving along there, sister. Oh. So these particular decor transfers come in a ton of different designs. We actually have even paintable ones. So they are a basically a black and white, black outline, and then you paint them in. So they're pretty stinking cool. And you can use all different kinds of art mediums like India ink, chalk style paint, that kind of thing. So again, we'll have a link up above, guys, where you can click on it and it'll take you to a listing of where you can find all of these products, all right? So you don't have to worry about that. And again, I would love it if you would come and follow me on my page at The Weathered Shed. All right. So as you can see, this is going on pretty easy. And again, the key is really in the prep work, guys, making sure that you have your glass or your mirror, whatever you're applying it to, very clean. Surface nice and clean. Getting all that oil, any oils or grime off of it. So Shabby Daddy keeps giving me signals. So you see me looking over there, that's what's going on behind the scenes, right? And do you guys have a Shabby Daddy? Do you guys have a Shabby Daddy around? Because I'll tell you what, I am very blessed to have such a talented hubby. He helps me with everything with regards to my business. I don't know what I'd do without him. All right, so you guys can see, look at that. Look at how stinking gorgeous that is. Is that not beautiful? Can you guys see that pretty good, I hope? I know he's zooming in the camera there, but what a transformation this makes on glass, right? Just gorgeous. All right, so we gotta move along. We got to move along. Like I said, once you get a bubble going in here, it really will start moving a little bit faster. But even though, with all the other things that we did on this demo, it really didn't take too long at all. All right. How are we doing? Oh, see that? I don't know if you guys could catch that, but when you hear that little crackling, that means I call it riding the wave. You can ride the wave. You get this bubble in there, and then it really starts going. And sometimes I make the mistake of even pressing too hard, which is probably what I'm doing right now, because I'm excited to be doing this with you guys. So sometimes I almost press too hard, and that can, you can avoid getting that bubble then sometimes. So I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but that big red flower right there has a huge bubble in the middle of it. So it's really going down fast right now. See that? And again, if you pick it up and there's a piece that didn't transfer, you just lay it right back down, get that bubble going. Like so. Whoops. And sometimes that happens and no big deal. You guys see that? Oh my gosh. It's really going now. Okay. So again, guys, if you have any questions or comments, I'm watching along with you in the comments. If you're watching this live premiere, I will be happy to answer any questions that you have. Woohoo! Yes, we are in the home stretch. So thank you for hanging out with me. I so appreciate it. So appreciate the love. And hoping that I'm going to be on here again real soon with you guys, showing you some more DIY home decor projects. All right, so we are in the final steps. Look at that, it's almost all on. Let's see how I did, because when you pull this off, ta-da! Look at that, it's like, hallelujah. That is totally clean, yes. Now, what you need to do is your final step, guys, is you need to make sure you burnish it onto your surface. So I take my hand like this and I rub it down. And again, you're on glass, so just be really careful not to press too hard, but you want to make sure. And then take your shop towel, okay, and just rub in a circular motion like that. Rub all over, getting all those little edges down. Okay, just like that. All right, how's that? All right, guys, look at that. Is that not beautiful? And then the final step is that I am going to paint these, okay? So I want to show you really quick before we wrap this up that you can take your little chippy brush and you can literally paint these while they are wet, okay? I'm not going to finish them completely on camera here, but you guys get the idea. And I will paint them the same gray color and then go back over them with a dry brush once they are dry and pick up the accents in all of that detailing. But that is the project for today. Hopefully there's not too much of a glare. We tried to use a black backdrop here so that you guys can see the design. But isn't it beautiful? Should I hold it up even more, Shabby Daddy? How's that? How does that look, guys? Can you see it? Yay! Gorgeous, huh? What a great way to transform your window, right? And you can even take and apply the bird. This was my other plan. Take your E6000 glue and glue little birds or butterflies or whatever right into your design, even making it look more 3D, okay? So remember, if you guys have any questions while you're watching the premiere, I am in the comments. I will answer them as we watch along together. And again, Jerry Landry, The Weathered Shed, thank you, Hometalk, for having me today. Love you guys. Stay tuned for our future. Bye-bye.